Hello, boys and girls. I am going to read to you a great story. It is called Lousy, Rotten, Stinking Grapes. And it was written by Margie Palatini and illustrated by Barry Moser. I think you're really going to enjoy this story. Fox-eyed a bunch of tantalizing grapes hanging from a vine growing high on a tree. "Oh, those juicy morsels are for me," he said with a grin. The problem was, Fox was only so high, and the grapes were so high. "Oh, no matter," he said. "I am sly, clever, and smart. After all, I am a fox." So he made a plan, and he add this to that, multiply that, and voila, grapes. Hop, skip, jump, flying, leap, and no grapes. Fox climbed out from the thicket and brushed off his coat. Perhaps a bit of boost is needed. But where to get a boost? Fox turned. He grinned. "Why, Bear, old buddy, I say, do you like grapes?"
"Grapes?" said Bear. Do I? I think I do. Yep, I think I do.
Excellent. Look and listen. Here's the plan, explained Fox. So you stand here, I'll stand here, and on the count of 3, you give a boost, and voila, grapes. Bear looked at the plan. He looked at the grapes. He looked at the tree. He stared at his big front paws and thought,
You know there, Fox, I'm thinking maybe I could just wrap my paws.
Interrupted Fox. Bear, my dear friend, your job is to be brawn, not brain. You leave the thinking to me. After all, I'm the fox. I'm sly, clever, smart, and I know how to get grapes.
Okay, Bear shrugged, if you say so.
Bear stood here, Fox climbed up and stood on Bear's head, and Fox counted 1, 2, 3, and no grapes. Fox brushed off his coat and straightened his nose. Maybe a little more lift, thrust, and oomph is needed here. Bear shrugged.
If you say so.
Now, where do I find oomph? Pat, slap, pat, slap, pat, slap, pat, slap. Fox peered down at the pond. He grinned. "Why, Beaver, dear old pal, I say, do you like grapes?" "Grapes? Oh, yes, indeed I do. Excellent. Look and listen. Here's the plan," explained Fox. Bear stands here, you stand on Bear's head there, I stand on your tail, and on the count of 3, Bear gets a boost as you give a note, which brings me there, and voila, grapes. Beaver looked at the plan, he looked at the grapes, he looked at the tree, he tapped his front tooth, and thought,
"Fox, I'm thinking if I just start a tune on that track."
Interrupted Fox. Beaver, my friend, you just mind the oomping. Leave all bad thinking to me. After all, I'm the fox. I'm sly, clever, and smart. And I know how to get grapes. Beaver just shrugged.
Okay, if you say so.
Bear stood here, Beaver stood on Bear's head there, Fox stood on Beaver's tail. 1, 2, 3, and no grapes. Fox climbed out of the brambles. "Just need an inch or 2, just a scooch," he said. Fox measured this, he weighed that, he turned around and grinned. "What, Porcupine, you short scoot of a little fella. Do you like grapes?" "Grapes?" said Porcupine. "I suppose I do enjoy a grape or 2 now and then." Excellent. Look and listen. Here's the plan, explained Fox. Bear stands here, Beaver stands there, you stand on Beaver's tail, I stand on you, and on the count of 3, Bear boosts as Beaver oops, while you scooch, which brings me there, and voila, grapes. Oh, Porcupine looked at the plan. He looked up at the grapes. He looked at his back full of quills. "Excuse me, Fox, but I have a suggestion. Perhaps if I just point my quill..." Interrupted Fox. Porcupine Porcupine, my little friend. You just be a scooch and leave the ideas to me. After all, I'm the fox, sly, clever, smart, and I know how to get grapes. Porcupine just shrugged. If you say so. Bear stood here, Beaver stood on Bear's head there, Porcupine stood on Beaver's tail, Fox stood very carefully on Porcupine's back. 1, 2, 3, and no grapes. Fox rubbed his feet, he pulled a bramble from his tail, he uncurled his whiskers. What might be helpful is a wee catch and swing, said Fox with a pencil and eraser. Yes, yes, catch and swing. Should definitely do it. Beaver looked at Bear, who looked at Porcupine. The three just shrugged.
If you say so.
Fox spied 2 tiny eyes peeking through a bush. Ah, Possum, my dear friend. Do you like grapes? Me, whispered Possum shyly. Why, yes, I do like grapes. Thank you for asking. I like grapes very much. Fox just grinned. Excellent! Look and listen. Here's the plan. Etc., 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 which lifts you, whose tail curls around there and then swings back to me, who I grab ending up there, and voila, grapes. Possum stared at the grapes. She stared at the branch. She stared at the plan. Pardon me, said Possum, but it all seems so confusing and complicated. Perhaps if I... Interrupted Fox once again. Possum, 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 my little pet. Now don't worry about anything so complicated. Nothing to fret over and faint dead away. Trust me, my dear. After all, I'm the fox. I am the one here who is sly, clever, and smart. And I know how to get grapes. Possum blinked. If you say so. So, Bear stood here, Beaver stood there, Porcupine stood on Beaver's tail, Fox stood carefully on Porcupine, and Possum stood on Fox, ready to swing into action. 1, 2, 3, and boost, oomph, squooch, swing! No grapes. Skunk came along. Hey, what y'all doing? Oh, blast that bunch of fruit, groused Fox, crawling out from under. There is simply no possible way to get those grapes, and that is that. Possum looked at Porcupine, who looked at Beaver, who looked at Bear. Well, I can run up the tree and toss them down, said Possum. Yeah, I can aim and shoot them down, said Porcupine. And Beaver said,
Oh, I can cut them down.
And then Bear said,
Oh, I can just shake the tree.
Fox glared. Oh, really? Then why didn't one of you say something before? Well, Possum spoke up. After all, you are the fox.
Yeah, sly, clever, and smart, said the bear. Very smart.
Fox turned with a huff and a sniff. Well, you do as you wish. I, for one, wouldn't think of eating those lousy, rotten, stinking grapes now, even if I could. Well, they're probably sour anyway.
If you say so.
The end.